What do women really want when it comes to size? It's one of those questions that seems to follow men everywhere, from high school locker rooms to late-night comedy to the endless scroll of TikTok and Instagram. Jokes about being too small, exaggerated claims about being huge, and frustrated conversations about not being satisfied. And here's the thing. These conversations aren't just jokes. They plant seeds of doubt. They convince men, normal, average, perfectly healthy men, that something might be wrong with them, that unless they're massive, they're not enough. But let's stop and ask a bold, honest question. Do women actually want a 12-inch penis? Or is that just a fantasy cooked up by media and reinforced by insecurity? I'm Dr. Michelle Zion. I've spent years studying sexual health, human behavior, and the psychology of intimacy. And today I want to share something that could completely change the way you see yourself. Because the truth, backed by actual science, not locker room stories, might surprise you. In fact, if you've ever worried you're too small, you may find yourself breathing a huge sigh of relief by the end of this conversation. So let's dive in. And if you find this reassuring as we go, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because too many men are walking around carrying shame they don't deserve. And together, we can change that. What women actually choose, the toy studies. Now, instead of asking women directly what they prefer, which can get skewed by social pressure, researchers came up with a clever workaround. They asked, what do women choose in private, when no one is watching, when no one is judging? That's where sex toy data comes in. Researchers analyzed the best-selling sex toys from 8 major distributors, and what they found was eye-opening. The most commonly purchased insertable lengths were between 4 to 6 inches. Let me repeat that. The majority of women were buying toys in the range of 4 to 6 inches. And here's something even more surprising. On 6 of those 8 platforms, the average bestseller was under 6 inches, right around 4.5 inches, almost exactly matching the natural average male circumference. This is critical, because when women make private choices, when it's just them and their body, they overwhelmingly choose average, not extreme, not gigantic, just normal, comfortable, natural. Another study looked at realistic dildos across major US retailers and Amazon. The average length there, 6.5 inches. Slightly above average, but nowhere near the extremes men fear they're being compared to. What does this tell us? Some women may experiment with a little extra, but very few are seeking extremes. Most simply want something that works with their body. And here's the kicker. Researchers found that factors like price and comfort influenced choices more than size. Toys that were too large, less popular. Toys that were average-sized, affordable, and comfortable, bestsellers. So the myth that bigger is always better, completely dismantled by data. And if you're listening right now thinking, wait, so if I'm average, that means I'm enough? The answer is yes. In fact, more than enough. But let's go even deeper, because as important as size is in this cultural conversation, it's only a fraction of what truly matters in intimacy. Beyond size, what really matters? Imagine this. You're on a date, the conversation flows, there's chemistry in the air, and you feel completely comfortable with each other. Hours pass like minutes. Now, here's my question. Is the connection you're feeling in that moment determined by inches? Of course not. That's because real intimacy isn't just physical. It's emotional, psychological, and relational. Time and time again, when women are asked about what makes intimacy fulfilling, size doesn't even make the top 3. Instead, they talk about confidence, a partner who knows who they are and carries themselves without insecurity. Communication, a partner who asks what feels good, who listens, who is attentive. Emotional connection, a partner who makes them feel safe, desired, and cared for. In fact, many women will tell you that a smaller partner who is emotionally present, affectionate, and attentive can provide far greater satisfaction than someone larger who is careless or disconnected. Science backs this up. Studies show that women rate emotional intimacy, trust, and foreplay as more important to satisfaction than penis size. So if you're average, and most men are, You already have what the majority of women physically prefer. The next step isn't to stress about size. It's to focus on the skills and qualities that actually build unforgettable connection. And that's where things get really powerful. The psychology of desire and intimacy. Here's something few people talk about. Desire is as much in the brain as it is in the body. Neuroscience research shows that arousal isn't simply a physical response. It's a deeply psychological experience. What this means is that the way you touch, talk, and engage with your partner can completely reshape how they experience pleasure. Think about it. Have you ever eaten a meal that wasn't fancy, wasn't extravagant, but because of the atmosphere, the company, and the love behind it, it became unforgettable? That's how intimacy works. Now, here's where confidence comes in. Confidence isn't about bragging or pretending. It's about knowing that who you are is enough and showing up fully present in the moment. Women consistently report that confidence is one of the most attractive traits a man can bring to the bedroom. Not arrogance, not ego, just calm, steady, self-assured presence. And when you combine confidence with communication, asking, listening, responding, you create the kind of intimacy that no number can replace. This is why men who obsess over size often miss the point. The real key isn't in comparison, it's in connection. So, the next time you feel that doubt creeping in, remind yourself. The science shows women overwhelmingly choose average, and the psychology shows women overwhelmingly prefer connection. Put those together, and you realize you already have everything you need. So, let's wrap this up. What do women really want when it comes to size? The data is clear. Most women, when given complete freedom to choose, prefer something average, 4 to 6 inches, average girth, nothing extreme. And when it comes to satisfaction, women consistently prioritize comfort, connection, communication, and emotional intimacy over size, which means if you fall into the average range, which the vast majority of men do, you are already exactly what most women want. But here's the bigger truth. You don't need to compete with a fantasy. You don't need to measure yourself against unrealistic ideals. You need to bring your presence, your confidence, and your care. Because intimacy isn't about numbers. It's about you. So, if this helped take a weight off your shoulders, do me a favor. Like this video. Share it with a friend who needs to hear that he is more than enough. And hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future myth-busting, science-backed conversations we'll be having here. Remember this, the next time someone cracks a joke or media tries to convince you that you need to be huge to be worthy, remind yourself of the truth. Average is normal, normal is enough, and you, exactly as you are more than capable of creating incredible intimacy and deep, lasting satisfaction. Take care of yourself, believe in yourself, and never forget, you are already enough.